Tonight's true scary story has to do with the Appalachian Mountains and Skinwalkers. So keep your headphones in, you guys. You do not want your phone on speakerphone in your house when I tell this story. By the way, there is a trigger warning because animals do get harmed in this story. So if that bothers you, I would scroll. Keep sending me your scary story, you guys. My email is in my bio. Okay, let's get started. Tonight's submitter's name is Mackenzie, and Mackenzie lived in the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. She used to have a farm with goats and sheep on it, and that's where the story took place. One day, she was out tending to her goats and sheep, and she had a friend over. They were doing some farm chores together. It was early summer, late spring, and it started to get dark outside. So they decided that they were gonna put the goats away. So they put the goats away in their goat pen and shed, and you can see this pen and shed from her bedroom window. That's important to know. Now, they had just had new baby goats born, so she had to double, triple, quadruple check whether they were in the shed or not. So she recounted them like 4 or 5 times. So they're both doing this when all of a sudden her friend just stops and looks up the hill by the barn, and she's just staring. So Mackenzie looks over at her and then looks up the hill, and that's when they see it. First, she thought that it was a bear. It was big, hairy, black, massive, right? And she's just staring at it when it slowly starts to stand up. Now it's standing up. It's so tall that it reaches above the barn, which is about 15 feet tall. So this thing is on its hind leg. She said that its legs were incredibly skinny. Its body, like the top of its body, its arms were very muscular, and it had like this bodybuilder stance. She also said that its face was incredibly long, and it had these long twirly horns, which, by the way, this is not the first time that I've heard about these long twirly horns. It also had these really long, super skinny fingers. Mackenzie is just staring at this thing, and then she looks at her friend, she looks back at the thing, and she just starts screaming. She is feeling pure terror. Her friend immediately put her hands over her mouth and drags her back to the house. And when they get back to the house, her friend looks at her in an incredibly serious manner and says, "Listen, what just happened? We just met a Skinwalker, and you need to go to bed right away. You need to take salt, you need to put it all around your bed, and then you need to go to bed now." So Mackenzie believes her friend because she's like, what the hell did I just see? Nothing else could, like, what else could this possibly be? So she goes into the kitchen, she goes to grab some salt, and her mom is like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm grabbing salt because I'm pretty sure that I just saw a Skinwalker." And her mom is like, "You're insane. You're not grabbing salt. You're not putting salt all over your floor." Mackenzie's like, "Yes, I am." And she does it sneakily. So she sneaks the salt and she puts it around her bed and she goes to sleep like her friend told her to do. At night, Mackenzie is absolutely terrified. She is really struggling to fall asleep, but she finally does fall asleep. When about an hour later, she wakes up to this screeching sound. It sounds like one of the baby goats or one of the goats is screaming. So she gets really nervous. So she gets up, she grabs a flashlight, and she looks out the window at the shed where they are, and she doesn't see anything. But then she looks a little closer, and what does she see? She sees that creature standing where the baby goats are. She said that when she looked at it with the light, it looked like it had like almost a deer head, and then she starts hearing this melodic humming sound. And she remembers what her friend said, and she's like, "No, F this." So she shuts the window, she grabs the flashlight, she gets back in bed, and she puts the covers over her head. While she's laying in bed, she starts to hear something again, and it's that melodic humming sound, except for it's just getting closer and closer. And then she hears this on her window, and then again, and then she hears the window rattling back and forth, like something is like rattling the window. She's terrified at this point, but remember, there's salt around her bed, so eventually it stops. The only problem with this is, though, that salt only protected her. Well, the next night she gets up and she goes to do her chores. When she goes outside and she sees the goat pen, she realizes that something is off. One of the baby goats is missing, and she starts looking for this baby goat everywhere. She's panicked. She knows for a fact that she quadruple checked the night before that all those baby goats were in their pen because she knew that there was new baby goats. She's looking, she cannot find it, and she decides that she's gonna go up the hill where that SW was, and she is going to check and see if maybe she can find it there. When she gets up to that hill, she finds something absolutely terrible. She finds the head of the baby goat, just the head. The head is facing upwards, it has no eyes, its tongue is hanging out in this most unnatural manner. She said that it was not a clean cut either. This literally looked like it had been ripped apart. Her stomach starts to get this nauseated feeling. She can't even look at it anymore. She then starts to slowly back up, and she trips over something, and she looks behind her and she sees the baby goat's organs on the floor, but they are like stretched out, scratched up, totally deformed. She said it was completely horrific. And she said that the smell was so bad, she had never smelled anything like it. She said it wasn't like a normal decomp smell. It was way worse. Something was off about this smell. She also said that the way that this was placed was almost like it was placed for her. Like something had left it there for her to find it like this. So she then goes running back to the house and she goes and tells her dad. She's like, Dad, this just happened. I found the baby goat's head and then I stepped over its like freaking out. And her father looks her dead in the eyes and said, we need to go grab that right now and we need to bury it now. She said that that was the most scared she had ever seen her father. Literally the color drained from his face. He looked terrified and he would not talk about it any further. They buried everything that they found and they no longer talked about it. Never again. She had actually called her friend and been like, listen, this happened to me last night. Did anything crazy happen to you? And something crazy did happen to the girl. If you guys want to know what that is, drop it in the comments. She said it wasn't as bad, but she didn't specify exactly what it is. But she said that this was the most horrific thing that she had ever experienced in her entire life. She also wants to know what you guys think. What do you guys think that she saw? And what do you guys think happened? Because her mother thinks that it was just some kids playing a prank. I don't think so. And if it was some kids playing a prank, those kids they're deranged. But it clearly wasn't because she saw it outside when she was laying in her bed. And that's the only thing. Like she saw it outside. And what would have happened to her if she didn't have that salt all over her bed? What do you guys think? She would love to know. She does not want to be tagged, but she will be seeing the comments. So leave any questions or comments that you have down below. My name is Kaisa. I give true scary stories that you guys submit to me every single night. If you guys want to send me a true scary story, my email is in my bio. I am looking for paranormal plus crime stories, like together, paranormal crime, and then also more cryptid and mimics. But anything will suffice. I will take anything because there are a lot of good stories that have nothing to do with those things. And if you like this type of stuff, hit that follow button for more because I do this every night, like I said. And I also just want to let you guys know that if you have submitted me a story and I haven't gotten back to you yet or I haven't told it yet, just please be patient with me because I am getting a lot of them. I will eventually tell your story and I will respond to you, I promise. I love every single one of you for doing this, for submitting me your stories, for supporting my page, for supporting me. I love you guys so much, each and every one of you, really. There's just one more thing that I need you to do for me, and what is that? Have a spooky night. Love you guys. See you in the next one.